Sonic Chronicles. As the first and only RPG in the Sonic series, this adventure takes us through a very interesting story, as Sonic and friends must battle a new threat called the Nocturne. This game has some very weird jank and mechanical tech that honestly makes this game not very well received. But a new question remains. Could we use that tech to try and beat this game without taking any damage? This is the Sonic Chronicles No Damage Challenge. Strap in for this one, because this is gonna take a while. First, we start off in the iconic Green Hill Zone. We grab our first egg and help this old guy do a simple quest to get some XP. It's not much, but it gives out much more than most enemies we will ever fight. Once we make it to the mainland, we do battle with an angry armadillo. Here I'll quickly go over how combat works in this game. In this game, you choose the actions everyone will do before the turn starts. Then you watch as the turn plays out. This game has effectively 6 different stats for each character: attack, defense, speed, luck, armor, and power. Speed is pretty important to get attacks off as fast as possible before the enemies themselves have a chance to move. Despite what it might look like, attack and defense are actually not attack and defense. In the in-game journal, they actually your accuracy and evasion chances. So this ironically makes defense a pretty important stat to invest in. Attack and luck aren't too important, as we will have ways to work around them. Everyone also has their POW moves, which are special attacks that take PP. About half of them require other characters to be in the party to use, and use up both characters' PP to use, but are far more powerful moves with good effects like defense piercing. Next, I'll talk about our MC, Sonic. Sonic possesses very average stats to start, but will gain very high speed increases to quickly become the fastest character in the game. His defense will also become high, aiding him in dodging attacks. Unfortunately, his damage is on the lower side for characters, so he wouldn't be hitting as hard. However, Sonic makes up for this by having an attack speed of 3, meaning he can attack 3 times per turn. This is an excellent trait to have, as he can still dish out very good damage throughout the turn, or instead spend his turns with other characters to assist with their team-up POW moves. He also has his own POW move, Axe Kick, to hit a single enemy for a lot more damage. The only other POW moves worth to Sonic is Fastball. You get the character for this team up very early, it multi-hits, and does a ton of damage. The other moves just do too low damage or just require too many characters to be in the party. Unfortunately, since Sonic is the MC, he will be in your party for the entire game, so we need to build him carefully. Now you're probably wondering how we're going to get through this battle without getting hurt, but it's actually pretty simple. It'll take Sonic around 3 to 4 attacks to kill this armadillo, and this thing has pretty low attack while Sonic has high defense, so it shouldn't take more than a few tries for it to miss. Once we get past that, Amy comes in to help us progress. Amy is okay in this game. She's basically the raw damage dealer while also having a few status moves she can use, while also having 2 attacks per turn, which is the standard from now on. Unfortunately, she comes with quite a few problems. Her base stats and stat spread is bad and ends up with some of the lowest stats in the game. On top of that, she cannot get past highly armored foes very well like later characters can. Amy isn't bad, but she becomes very outclassed once other characters start entering the mix. Now we get into a fight with this robot. This gives us a tutorial on running away. If we or the enemy starts running away, we need to give chase and catch up with them. When we catch them, we essentially get a free turn to beat them down. This is how we're going to get most of our early game XP from. However, during the chase are these boxes we have to jump over. If we run into them, we take 1 damage and that ends the challenge. So we have to play these perfectly every time we give chase. Now back to the enemy. This is a miss robot. Why is it called that? Because this guy's defense is so high that you will miss him 80% of the time. Since I don't raise my attack in this playthrough, this will constantly happen for normal attacks, but it isn't impossible, so I can take out the robot after enough brute force. After that, we can finally explore Green Hill to the best of our current abilities. We can grab a few rings and chow eggs, but fighting is extremely difficult, as those armadillos are now paired with wasps, which also have high defense but also high speed. Do need some XP so we can finally gain some POW moves to use, mainly Sonic's Fastball. Once again, just keep fighting until they decide to run away so you can finally gain some XP. One last mechanic to talk about are the chows themselves. These guys are pretty neat as they give you a small but passive buffs to equip onto characters. These can range from more stats to HP or PP regen, to making it easier to make enemies run away. There are 40 of these guys and you can get any one of these at any time, but which one you get is completely random. Chows can also be leveled up to be much better, but there is a massive problem with that, as to level up Chow you have to trade with other players that also have a copy of the game. And since I don't know anyone else close to me with a copy of this game, and I don't want to spend how much it is, get another copy of this game, I just decided to use the power of modern emulators to trade with myself, easily maxing out every Chow that I need. Now, there is some notable Chow that we can and will be using in the future, but right now I'm going to be re-rolling for Pyros. This is a Chow that gives you a damage boost while also making your attacks have the fire element. There is an elemental weakness and resistance in this game, and I'll make note of it for some enemies if they have a heavy weakness to a certain one. After getting our POW moves and Chows set up, we can now encounter our first boss, this random Nocturne soldier. Unfortunately, he is very fast and evasive and quite accurate to boot, but none of that should matter as with Sonic and Amy using fastball, executing POW moves perfectly will guarantee the move lands to hit and at full power, and with his fire weakness, should be enough to completely one-shot this guy. With that guy dead, we can now enter Central City. Before we can explore, we need to talk to Tails, who suggests we explore around and find Knuckles to continue the plot. Tails is pretty okay as well. He is a support character with a focus on annoying enemies and helping allies. He has the second highest defense in the game, making him incredibly hard to hit in general. Unfortunately, Tails in this challenge isn't too useful. His only notable move is Adrenaline Rush, which gives the hyper status and an extra turn to a friend of his choosing. But he's a bit too slow to have these effects active before the enemy takes their turn. His other moves are just either not useful challenge-wise or too situational to be useful. Once again, similar to Amy, he isn't that bad, he just becomes outclassed by later characters. With Tails, we now have to battle some robots outside his house, consisting of 2 Mist bots and a SWAT bot. On preparation for this fight, I went and grabbed a Water Chow, as all robots have a 75% weakness to water. This fight is also the first one where RNG can really matter, as these robots all have POW moves of their own. When enemies use their POW moves, you also have to execute a sequence, and if you hit all of them correctly, the attack is a guaranteed miss. Enemies, however, mostly use their normal attack, or just don't have any POW moves, so we still need to plan for these situations. Regardless, in this fight, quickly take out the Mist robots, then target the SWAT bot. SWAT bots have auto life at all times in this game, so it's just better to leave him last and give us the win. We now go and meet up with Rouge, who joins us and takes us to the military to assist in finding Knuckles. Rouge is, very, mid. Let's start with her positive traits. Similar to Tails, she is a support that assists the team by messing with the enemies. Her best move is Distract, which inflicts the distracted status on one enemy. This gives us a consistent way to inflict distracted on any enemy. Statistically, she also has the 3rd highest defense in the game, right behind Tails by 1 point. However, that's where all the positives really end. Rouge is just another character suffered by the outclass mark. She does get POW moves that can deal damage, but they are so pathetically weak that it basically does no damage at all, while the rest of her support kit is also not that useful. While she's basically a second Tails, we'll get other characters that are better as the game progresses. With a full team, Tails gives suggestions to find these machine thingies to find Knuckles. We need to backtrack to Green Hill and explore Central City in order to find all of these things. There are 4 things in total, and once you do find one, we need to do a battle with these 2 SWAT bots every time. Simply equip Sonic with the Water Chow and fastball one of them, then distract the other with Rouge. Thankfully, they are pretty slow enough to get these both off at the same time, and with this incredibly reduced hit chance, we can chip its health down and win. I also do some quests and puzzles on the way for some very easy XP, and trust me, we do need all the XP we can grab for the end. Once all 4 thingies are collected, Tails will point and fly us to Mystic Ruins. There we meet up with Big the Cat, who joins us and helps us navigate through the ruins. Big the Cat is sadly not that great for this challenge. While he has great damage, his other stats are very low. He's very slow, has middling defense, and doesn't have any good POW moves to offer. His best move by far is Battering Ram, a 3-hit move that does a ton of damage and can cause Distracted. However, the biggest big weakness is that he has only one attack per turn, which combined with his low speed means he won't get many chances to even attack. And even then, since enemies will start having high armor, his damage won't be that impressive at all, and it's only a chance to flick Distracted, while Rouge can do it guaranteed. Still, we need Big to get through the ruins at all, as it calls for an ability that only he can do. And this won't be the last time this happens. But after a few puzzles, we meet up with Knuckles, who soon tells us that someone plans to take the Master Emerald again. We come to the conclusion that Eggman is the only person that could have planned all of this, so we set all our sights on him, which Knuckles agrees and joins our team. Knuckles is a great character in this game. He carries high damage and decent defense, but what makes him better than Big and most other characters is his much better speed, having 2 turns per turn, and having a much better POW move selection in comparison. Knuckles comes with Uppercut and Quake Punch, the former dealing great damage while also piercing armor, meaning it will always do its full damage to an enemy, while the latter hits all enemies with weak earth damage, but has a chance to stun enemies, pretty much meaning they're dead. He also has some of his own promising team-up attacks, but I never really bothered with those as there are actually better options later with other characters. With Knuckles on the team, we can finally explore the rest of Green Hill. After running around for a bit, we meet up with Cream. She says she lost Cheese, her personal chow friend, and wants us to find him. This quest requires Knuckles as he's the only person at this current moment in time with the climbing ability, and now that we have him, we can rescue Cheese and return him to Cream. As thanks for saving Cheese, Cream decides to join our team. Cream is one of the 2 optional characters in this game you can recruit, but this is definitely one of them that you do not want to skip. Cream is yet again another support character, but Cream comes packing the absolute greatest options for a support in this game. Now normally in a vanilla run, she is a healer with the ability to revive, but in this challenge, Cream comes in with the best support move in the game, Demoralize. This inflicts Distract to every single foe on the field guaranteed, which is much better than Rouge's version. Cream also comes with Refresh, which completely restores the PP of the entire party, including herself at max level. What makes her even better than Tails and Rouge is her speed, which is higher than both and just barely enough to get the jump on most enemies in this game, starting off every fight distracted. Now, Cream isn't a completely perfect character, as she only has 1 turn to work with each turn. The first turn she usually will be doing is distracting, while all her other turns will be refreshing until it wears off. The second and most important weakness is Cream's moves are insanely hard to do, having so many actions to tap at one time, and if you fail at any time, the move will just straight up not work. It's pretty great. But thankfully we have a way to fix this. By giving Cream a Ferox Chow, this will automatically do her moves with no input. With all of these traits, Cream is going to make every fight in this game much easier to deal with. Cheese is also a great Chow, as at max level, he gives everyone 15 plus luck, so getting ambushed should not be a problem anymore. Cream instantly makes the next fight easier with these Scorpions, as combined with their low speed and attack, 1 round of Distract completely makes these enemies unable to hit us at all. With 1 Eggman thingy, we now race to Central City and talk to this robot. If you answer these questions correctly, you can skip fighting this particular enemy altogether and he'll just give up the next Eggman thingy. Doing this small quest for a stapler gives us our 3rd thingy, and the last 2 are in Mystic Ruins, but as we head there, Shadow comes in and shoves us aside. Thankfully he doesn't hurt us, so, he's just kind of a jerk. Shadow is much more of a meanie in this game and wants to fight. However, this particular fight is actually very optional as well, as if you say you just don't want to fight, he just leaves. I mostly didn't fight him for 2 reasons. One is that he is much faster than Cream and is actually pretty accurate, starting off every attempt with a free hit. The second reason is that he only gives out like 10 XP, which is like really low for this point in the game, so I didn't even bother. While we're in the Mystic Ruins, we can grab the last Eggman thingy in this cave. We do need to defeat this robot first, but Cream once again makes this fight much easier. And we get through it unscathed. With everything explored, we head back to Green Hill to find Eggman. We do need to fight the Mist Robots' cousin, the Dodge Robots. These guys are even harder to hit and hit multiple times, but with Cream's demoralized, he shouldn't be able to hit you at all. Now we enter Eggman's base. and now we have to fight upgraded SWAT bots. This fight is incredibly annoying, as once again, these guys have auto life at all times. If you kill one, it'll just keep getting back up, and since dying removes your status, it won't be distracted anymore. Keep your damage consistent between all 3 robots, and when they are all low, go all out and knock them all out. Despite high attack, they shouldn't still be able to hurt you at all, giving us the win. Eggman will come over and claim he's not the villain in this story, and even insists on helping Team Sonic find the real villain at Angel Island, leading us to Blue Ridge Zone. At the entrance, Shadow makes his grand reappearance and decides to fight us this time once and for all. Now this Shadow fight is very similar to the last one, but he seems to use POW moves far more commonly in this version of the fight. All we have to do is dodge one and apply Distract to keep ourselves safe. One important thing that Shadow does is that this is the very first instance of a counter foe. These guys counter your misses with chip damage, so we cannot deal normal attacks to these enemies since our attack is very low. Always use POW moves against these guys, and if you're out of PP, just use an item to restore it. Once Shadow is defeated, he will actually run away with Sonic giving chase. This puts us in a 1v1 situation versus Shadow, but thankfully Shadow once again runs away at the beginning of the fight. If you catch up with him, Shadow is completely defenseless for one turn, and if you just keep axe kicking him, it should be enough to take him down. Once he's down, Shadow finally realizes that we're on the same side, and joins us to try to find Omega and the main villains. Shadow, as expected, is an excellent character, having 3 attacks per turn, incredible speed and defense, great damage, and a great selection of POW moves and team-ups to use. He has Chaos Spear, a piercing move that hits twice. Unfortunately, it has random targeting for the second hit, but it's still great against foes that only have one target. Chaos Rift is a single target status move that, at max level, can inflict Distracted guaranteed and has an in-favor chance to just one-shot a foe. Sonic and Knuckles are great partners for Shadow with team-up moves. Shadow can use Atomic Strike with Sonic, the single best AoE move in this game. It's an electric type move that cannot miss at all and does a ton of damage, and due to its low PP costs, can just be spammed up to 3 times per turn. And since all of the Marauder type of enemies have a weakness to electricity, this move is just incredibly great to spam throughout the entire game. Knuckles gets access to the Knuckles Express, which also hits all enemies, but this one has a non-half chance to distract all foes instead. This one is less useful since Cream is already doing that 100% of the time. In conclusion, Shadow is a top 3 character and will be used a bunch in this challenge. Now Blue Ridge itself isn't too exciting, so we'll just make our way to Metropolis. But some girl named Shade gets in our way and challenges us to a fight. Shade is incredibly fast and agile, guaranteeing first turn, but I managed to get a lucky dodge at the beginning, letting Cream apply her distract so she cannot hit us anymore. You want to focus down Shade first and then her minions, as she can revive them if they're both dead. Once she is defeated, she will block the way, so we need to find an alternative way to Metropolis via a door puzzle. Now that we are in Metropolis, the group devises a plan of attack. Sonic and Knuckles will go to Angel Island to stop the bad guys from getting the Emerald, while Tails and Eggman stay down in Metropolis to support them. This splits our teams into 2. I put Shadow and Cream on one side, while putting Amy and Big on the other. Angel Island has more fights I'm worried about than the other team. I also realized I never talked about Eggman. He's just okay. He's only used for 2 areas in this game, one of which, Metropolis, he is required. He only has 2 POW moves, but they actually end up both being good. Bombardment is an all-hit can't-miss move that deals pretty good damage, and Sabotage is a team-up move with Tails that can instantly kill a robot. Unfortunately for Eggman, he has very heavy issues. Similar to Big, he is very slow and lacks much defense, but the main issue is his attack speed of 1. Now at least Eggman has a decent damage dealing move and a one-hit KO move, but not being able to use them more than once really makes him a lot less useful. As the plan goes into motion, Team Sonic board an aircraft while Team Tails goes and looks for the parts needed. On the way, Tails meets up with him at a commission Omega. After an annoyingly brief fight, we manage to repair him, and as thanks, he joins our team to get revenge on the villain. Omega is the second optional character, and he's got some very good traits and abilities. He has a really good spread of moves, a beam cannon that can pierce defense, dealing very high damage, a flamethrower AoE, and a full auto machine gun that does high damage to no armored foes, but has like no accuracy to speak of. However, Omega's most unique move from the rest of the cast is Temporal Field. This gives you the extremely rare phase status, which straight up makes a character invincible for a few turns. Unfortunately, Omega will never make good use of it due to his heavy flaws. Similar to Big, once again, he suffers from very low speed and defense and his attack speed of 1. While still far better than Big with his actual good coverage, he just can't use them as much. Having more chances to attack in a given turn is just far and away too important in challenges like this. Team Sonic fight the enemies on board that give out a crap ton of experience for some reason before losing control, so they ask Team Tails for assistance. Before using their tech to help, a defense robot comes and attacks. This fight does inherit a bitty big flaw with my current team composition, as they're all incredibly slow. However, they also do use POW moves pretty frequently. The Eggman is just barely fast enough to outspeed and sabotage the big robot. With some good luck, we can absolutely win this fight no problem. And now with that fight done, we can now go to Angel Island. What am I supposed to do now? Okay, I blew up the ship. What now?
Nothing.
Aren't I supposed to switch to Sonic?
No, not yet.
Really?
I think you have to do something else first. Yes, but something went wrong for
Oh, looks like something went wrong.
because it is like you're supposed to shoot the cannon, and then the cutscene is supposed to play that you're getting like to the other people.
Did this happen to
So
you?
I don't know how the fuck you did this, but you somehow didn't hit the trigger. You
And softlock
continuously
yourself.
softlock yourself.
So I have... Okay.
No way.
So I have to go and kill him again. Okay.
Yes.
That's so weird. Why didn't that...
What, you
I checked the
respawn?
fucking gameplay video just in case. Like that guy just like shot the can and it played a cutscene.
And then it switched over to Sonic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Something's wrong.
Like the moment after it like turns back to Tails to like load in the map, and then immediately loads the Angel Island map of Sonic on. Did it play a cutscene for you?
It did play a cutscene. Maybe I have to let it play out.
Yeah, like when the cutscene is over, like it loads you back in to Metropolis, and then it's supposed to load you back, like supposed to immediately unload everything and go to Angel Island.
That's probably what
So I guess you somehow force Tails to move, I guess.
So I'm just gonna let the cutscene play out then.
Just let it play out.
What? What?
Fine, can you give me your save file?
Ain't.
Try
No way.
No.
Way, bro. I will actually rage if you get past
That
this.
would be insane. You would have...
It would be so funny.
Imagine if it worked for Yoshi and you would just have to like say in the video, I couldn't play this part, so I had my friend do it.
Ain't
we're gonna,
there's
like-
no way. I will.
We're gonna pull out my melodies, brother.
No way, dude. It would make sense, bro.
It works.
What? That doesn't make sense!
Fucking lemma.
That straight makes no sense! Hello?
Okay.
I'm sorry
Another
for yelling.
epic win
Okay.
for Honkai Star Rail.
I'm sorry for yelling, but like, what? That makes no sense!
What happened?
I
Yoshi can run the
spent
game, but
20
Spike can.
times doing this
Oh.
fight and I can't get
Oh.
past this one part because of a freaking emulator glitch. But Yoshi can get past it just fine.
Have fun putting that in the video.
Are you recording Yoshi's screen?
Yes, I am.
Good.
I've
With
recorded.
Honkai
I've
Star Rail in the
recorded
back.
the freaking video. I've recorded Honkai Star Rail and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Honkai, baby.
You have to put it in exactly like it is, with the Honkai Star Rail in the back. And Yoshi talk over this part.
This is dumb, dude.
Wait,
Yeah, he
wait.
can voice Angel Island. I don't care.
No. I'm back to Honkai, baby. This game sucks.
After those shenanigans, we can finally start Angel Island. There isn't much to this place other than a ton of enemies, but with Cream, there really is no danger. Team Sonic manages to make it to the villain leader, Ix, who sends waves after waves of enemies to keep us busy. Thankfully, they are all weak to electric, so a few atomic strikes takes care of them all. Afterwards, Tails and Eggman come to lend their support and take out the rest of the Marauders. With our full team, we challenge Ix. After a demoralize, he can't touch us. Knuckles actually manages to completely stun him while we take him down quickly. Ix defeated, he steals the Master Emerald anyway and leaves to his own world, while leaving a black hole in the sky. He also betrays Shade from earlier and leaves her with the heroes. Feeling like she, really messed up, Shade decides to join Team Sonic to persuade her master not to go through with his plan. Shade is the final playable character, and she is insane. Shade comes with the highest defense stat in the game, good enough speed, great damage, and best of all, great POW and team-up moves. Blade Rush is good damage, and while we won't be needing its health steal effect, it's Shade's best move at doing damage by herself. Her best move by far is Echidna Rush. This is a team-up move with Knuckles. This move is so broken, it does ridiculous damage, hits 3 times, pierces armor, is ridiculously brain dead to execute, and due to her and Knuckles' attack speed, can be used twice in one turn. This is the best move overall for doing any damage and should be spammed in any fight with the duo in tow. With our new character, we now need to turn on generators so Tails and Eggman can power a ship to chase after Ix. All goes well until we need to battle an Eggman lookalike robot. This guy also carries auto life, so we need to kill the other robots first, but with a few hits from Shade, 2 water-infused atomic strikes does enough damage to kill them all. With the ship all ready, we are able to go to the second part of the game, the Space Adventure! First we land in the Kron area, and since they are currently allied with Ix, we must fight one. These guys are horribly annoying with ridiculous armor and HP. This is finally time for Echidna Rush to finally see great use. While it doesn't outright one-shot, it still does a massive amount of damage to put them very low. If you want to go to the gambling side of things, you could try to use Shadow's Chaos Rift for a chance of a one-hit KO. After talking with the Krons, we go to the factory to grab the Chaos Emerald. While not required to fight, I do want to make note of these Gizor enemies. These things possess ridiculous speed and attack for this point in the game, so avoiding these guys is actually very necessary, as even with them demoralized, they can still very much hit you unlike any other enemy in this game. Nothing guards the Chaos Emerald on this planet, so we can actually grab it, grab a ton of XP, and move on to the next planet, the Nurgle. This fight when you land here is actually not required. If you choose the correct dialogue box, we can just avoid it. And honestly, if you want, you never have to fight anything here anyway. Not that the enemies here are very annoying or tough or anything like that. This place just limits your party very badly. Once we talk to the Queen, she asks us to go to Zoa. But once we land here, we are actually stuck and forced to fight once again. but this time with a Zoa. Shade with an Earth Chow does nearly enough damage to one-shot a Zoa from full health with a Kidna Rush. And that's how most of these Zoa fights go, while I gather a bunch of more XP for a future battle. While also on Zoa at the store, they sell the Kron Hammer for some reason. I don't know why this isn't on Kron, but that's not important right now. This is a great accessory to wear as it gives a whopping 10 points in power, which is a massive amount of damage increase. So I give it to all my attackers, Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, and Shade. While we're here, we can also grab the Voyax teleporter, which gives a very high +4 defense, which will definitely help on later. I also grab 2 Cursed Gloves and give them both to Shade and Shadow. They give a high damage boost, but lower your accuracy and evasion. Since these two already have ridiculous defense, it won't hurt them as much. With our massive equipment and level upgrade, we sneak into the Zoa base for the Chaos Emerald. We need to use Shade here to avoid the laser turrets, as if you actually walk in their line of sight, they will react and shoot you and deal overworld damage. Shade is the only character that can use stealth and avoid the turrets altogether. Unfortunately, trying to grab the Emerald actually gets us caught and we have to do battle with the Zoa Gentleman. Focus more on his minions, as while he has far more health, his other stats are much lower and the Kidna Rush completely one-shots the others. Above all else, however, make sure Sonic's PP is full when you end this fight. After a lot of Echidna Rush spam, General Roxas comes in and challenges Sonic for the Emerald, putting us in yet another 1v1 situation. Roxas himself has pretty good stats, but only has 1 attack speed per turn. So I gave Sonic a defense chow so he can evade most of his attacks. On the first turn, I used some items, specifically the Psychic Water and the Rock Salt. Using Psychic Water gives Sonic a 10+ stat boost in defense for the rest of the battle, making sure Sonic doesn't get hit by any stray normal attacks, while the Rock Salt gives 5+ power, which is perfect. If Roxas hasn't hit you yet, have Sonic spam Axe Kick on the second turn. Sonic with every hit should just deal over 100 damage, which is just enough to kill him in 1 turn. Roxas will give up and give you the Emerald while also joining our side, and in turn the Nurgle will give us theirs. Only one more planet to go before the finale. The last planet is the Voyax, whatever. I'm calling it Vox. I'm calling it Vox. I don't care anymore. This place is very harmless, and even has a final gear shop. After exploring for a bit, we meet up with Debus, who helps us progress the plot to free the Vox clan. But his friends are mind-controlled, so we have to fight them. This is probably the one genuine fight I struggled with. The only other fight I came close to being annoying was the robot fight with only Tails and Amy, and that was because we were at the beginning of the game, which is generally the hardest part of any no-hit challenge. This fight has several main problems. First, these enemies are incredibly fast. They're actually the second fastest normal enemy in the entire game. Cream is also too slow to outspeed and inflict distract before they move. Second, they have incredibly high luck. Shoma showed that they always start the fight with an ambush on us, so we can't even start the turn without a loss. Third, they have quite a bit of health, so a fire-infused atomic strike takes 2 uses to KO, and due to their speed, Sonic and Shadow won't be able to attack twice before they even attack, assuming you even make it that far into the fight. Fourth is that despite the average attack, they can hit us with little issue, and they will counter all of our normal attacks if we miss. Now, the luck problem can actually be solved by giving Knuckles to Kayla Chow. This reduces the ambush chances, and combined with Cheese, we can solve that issue. Now, the other issues, their speed is the biggest issue. If there was a way to give Cream more speed, then this wouldn't even be a problematic fight. However, Cream gets no speed increasing equipment, no accessories that give speed, no Chow even gives speed. The only way to get speed in this game is to level up. You know what that means, right? We have to grind experience. Woo! Woo! Yay! I love grinding. It's so fun! Now, leveling up in this game isn't that hard, but once you get enough XP, the XP you get from fights just becomes far worse and worse and worse, to a point where it's just completely pointless to fight. Thankfully, the XP is still good enough at Zoa to level up at a reasonable pace. After about an hour and a half, Cream has finally reached 42 in speed, finally being able to outpace the Vox enemies. Now this fight is a complete breeze, like seriously, the only thing that was holding us back was the speed problem. Now after that fight, we do yet another fight with these guys. The major difference between this fight and the other is that these two side enemies actually have 42 speed as well, tying with Cream. Now if you actually win the speed tie, this fight is exactly like the last one. Now we can enter the second Vox area. This area is kind of annoying to travel through, but there's nothing really on your way. Once you complete the puzzle, we can now challenge the Vox leaders. Now, funnily enough, this fight is actually one of the easier ones. And it all comes down to these guys having exactly 40 speed, which is less than all the other guys we fought. Cream did her thing, Sonic and Shadow did the damage, and Knuckles completely stunned all but one of them, which then proceeded to use a POW move. After 2 more atomic strikes, it's just GG. With 5 emeralds in hand, it turns out the last 2 are in the final area. Getting all of our allies together, we work together to enter the final area. Now Nocturne isn't that long or boss heavy, but we still need to fight a few different battles here. To grab both emeralds quickly, the party once again splits up into 2 teams, with Sonic and Tails forced into one, and Knuckles and Shade on the other. While Tails by this point isn't too great, he has by far the best defense in the party, so if we ever need an evasion tank, he will be useful. While I won't be fighting normal enemies by this point, Shadow has a Chaos Rift to still distract the boss, and most bosses by this point fight by themselves. With Shadow's excellent speed, he will always get the jump on them first. Amy gives Sonic access to Fastball again, which is still an excellent move by this point in the game, dealing massive damage to a single target. Since I'm only letting Amy just help out with Sonic, I gave her a defense chow to help with her lacking defense. On the Knuckles side, I gave them Omega and Cream. Shade and Knuckles are incredibly good together, so there isn't an issue there either. Omega can absolutely deal a decent amount of damage to finish off Echidna rushed enemies. He also does have the niche temporal field to make one ally invincible. Cream is, well, Cream. I think the Echidna team does need a little bit more help since their speed is a little low. You don't really do much as Team Sonic at the beginning, so after exploring a bit, Team Knuckles will just suddenly be thrown in the fight with these Schizoids. This fight has a tiny, massive problem. First off, these guys get an ambush strike. Now, I thought originally that this would just be like any other ambush. I just simply needed to increase my luck and a chow that lets me not get ambushed as much. However, every single time I went into this fight, they get an ambush every single time. I tried like 20, 30, 50 different attempts, nothing. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if you just raise your defense high enough, they don't have a chance to hit you. They only have 38 attack. Cream and Shade have over 50. This should be no problem. Well, yeah. Life is never that simple, because if you haven't already noticed, something is different about these particular foes. Now, through the power of plot shenanigans, these are souped up foes that are actually unkillable. The point of this fight is that you have to survive for 2 turns before we can advance the plot. So they made this fight in particular very, not fair. So unfair that for every attempt I mentioned, their ambush attacks hit every single time. Actually, it looked like every single attack they threw at me was hitting. At first, I was just in complete confusion, but once I actually scouted this fight, it completely dawned on me that this might not be possible.
I might not. I might be insane. I said it all a lot, but even with distract, can I get 1 dodge so I'm not insane? What? What is happening? Huh? Cause like look at this crap. Like what?
Now, if you want to add to the complete list of reasons why this fight is completely stupid, this fight could have been completely easy to no-hit if we just didn't get randomly ambushed by the devs. As you just saw, you can inflict statuses onto these guys, which means that if you actually manage to make Knuckles faster than both these Gizoids and got off a Quake Punch, you can stun both of them at once. Then you can just defend and instantly end this fight. But sadly, we don't live in that reality. We only exist in one reality. But there does exist one theoretically possible possibility. Remember when I said a long time ago that there were only 40 Chao in this game? What if I told you I lied? There are actually 5 more Chaos in this game that you can get. Now everything I'm about to tell you, while completely possible to happen, is only theoretical. Now these 5 Chaos are in the game. However, in the US version, there was no way to unlock them. However, in the Japanese version, you can actually input a hidden code. This will unlock 4 different Chaos, with one of them having interesting properties. Fimbly. This guy allows you to completely avoid 3 normal attacks per round of combat for free. As you can probably tell, this is completely broken as it sounds. This pretty much works on every attack you can possibly think of, and it works on ambush hits.
Now, unfortunately, there is no way to get this Chao on English. However, it is technically still in the game, so I wanted to test if it could work. So I gave myself the Chao and put it on everyone. And the results were rather shocking. What? I think there's like realistic like cheating. Well, that's it, I guess. I guess that's the end of the challenge. I guess it really is impossible to win, no matter what. Maybe I'll move on to another game. Maybe something better than... Oh yes, you just saw that correctly. In the Japanese version, this Chao can actually dodge their ambush attack. Now, I wish I could tell you why, but I'm just gonna go with the Japanese version of the game being a really weird version in general. As according to Yoshi, the game has very small and annoying differences that kinda make no sense. This fight could just be less strict in general, and that works in our favor. So yeah, the challenge can still go on in the Japanese version. Now for clarity and difficulty's sake, I will still be playing on the English version, but it has been confirmed that the rest of the game by this point is the same regardless of either one. To use the Chao on every single fight would just be boring, so I just decided to just keep playing as if I don't have the Chao. But do know that the Japanese version is still possible for this challenge.
Now after that train wreck mess, Tails manages to turn off their gimmick and turn them into regular enemies. Now we let Cream do her thing, a kid in a rush, whatever. We prepare ourselves for the next boss and walk over to Scylla and start her fight. But before we do that, Sonic needs to make some progress. This is where we enter the Water Zone. The Water Zone is mildly problematic.
as your PP will constantly drain while in here. If you run out of PP, it will start to drain your HP as well. So make sure to fill up your PP with air bubbles to full before moving on. Also, you do not want to get an encounter here at all, as all power moves are disabled and you cannot run away at all. And most of these enemies counter you if you miss. Just avoid everything until you make it to Cherub. Now this was the single most fight I was worried about when I decided to replay this game under this challenge. And unlike a certain other fight I just completely didn't remember about, turns out I was completely worried for absolutely no reason. First off, Cherub doesn't even ambush you, so that's already a massive advantage. And while we still can't use our power moves, that once again isn't the goal of this fight. Like the last fight, all we have to do is survive for 3 turns before Sonic moves to plod along. Now Cherub does have a high attack stat of 40, but Tails completely eclipses this stat by around 20 points. Due to how enemy AI works, they will just constantly attack the same target until they die. If this happens to be Tails, we can give him a Mystic Water to buff his already ridiculous defense. So much so that Cherub literally cannot hit him at all. Now we can let everyone else defend except Tails. We also cannot attack Cherub at all because he also counters all attacks if we miss. Power moves can be avoided if you're defending though, so nothing to worry about there. Once the fight ends, we immediately return to fight Skyla. I'll be honest, this took an embarrassing amount of tries. For some reason, even with a distract status, she kept hitting me for some reason, which is so bewildering to me as Shade has over 60 defense by this point. But whatever, 2 Echidna rushes later and we're done. With Carrot's Emerald 6, we help Sonic by draining the water, allowing a fair fight with Cherub. And all it took was a fastball with a Chaos Spear to end the fight. With the last Emerald, Knuckles and crew finally head over to the final boss chamber. They have a nice and lovely chat while Sonic and his crew make their way over there as well. Now Ix gives Knuckles one last chance to join him, but obviously that never works ever, so now we get to start the final boss of the game, Emperor Ix. Right away we already run into a massive issue. Ix will always start the fight with an ambush yet again, and yes, it is always, as I have done this fight more than enough to last me forever. Now unlike that stupid fight from earlier, Ix doesn't seem to have any special gimmicks in play. You just fight to KO him as normal. The main problem is that he has 60 attack, which is exceptionally high for any enemy in this game. Well, we just need to give our high defense characters a little extra boost with more defense in order to what the... Wait, where did all my defense go? I swear I had like 50 something. Why did everyone's defense just suddenly drop to 30? What is even happening? Just to make sure I wasn't crazy, I loaded my save before I started chapter 10, and sure enough, all my defense values were correct. Team Sonic also didn't have this problem, it was only Knuckles. So something happened that made Knuckles' team's defense just suddenly drop. So once again, I started playing from the start of Nocturne, keeping heavy eye on my stats this time. And you will never believe what happens next. Wait, why does Shade just have 20 defense all of a sudden? That's not right.
You lost stats somehow on the level up.
What?
You wanna level down?
Yeah, what? It just lowered, after that fight, it lowers your stats.
Is this like a law reason because like you're tired from fighting those super girls or some shit?
Maybe.
That would be stupid and probably would be noticed by a lot of people. But it doesn't seem like this is noticed.
This is wild. I've like never seen this ever in a video game.
What is it? The defense lowering?
Yeah. Once I finished the run-ending fight, my stats were indeed changed. Strangely, it was only my defense stat that was changed. But without high defense, I am completely unable to dodge Ix's ambush attacks. So I guess this is really over now. Or is it? See, while I was grinding up for the battle against Ix, I started to realize something.
When I went to the ship to restore my PP, I saw that everyone still had their defense. So I went back to the ship with Knuckles. I wanted to see if Knuckles was just cursed or something, so I switched out my party members, and to my surprise, everyone still had the correct stats. This is where I come to a complete conclusion. First, I grab Omega and Big, the two with the lowest defense, and bring them to this fight. Unfortunately, there's no way to salvage Knuckles and Shade's defense, it's just completely gone. But since they can one-hit KO basically anything at this point, I guess it won't really matter. Once I've gotten that fight done, we can go grab Kreen and, Rouge. Now, I said Rouge was not that useful, but I did say she had basically the second highest defense in this game with Tails. After giving her some defense equipment and a defense chow, her defense stat was in the high 60s by this point, which is more than enough for Ix to have a chance to miss. Once again, playing through the entirety of Nocturne, once again, we walk up to the final boss once more. We just need him to target Rouge and miss.
This time. Echidna Rush. Just kill him. That's your best thing you can do. Remember, you have to play.
I know. I remembered.
Oh. Much. Another one of these then for. I beat this. Oh yeah. I did the first one.
Can be Rouge was the answer.
With Ix weakened, Sonic comes in from the roof to help, starting the second phase. We now need to defeat Ix with Team Sonic instead. However, the fight is completely the same, straight down to Ix getting a free ambush. Thankfully, I was already prepared for this one. Tails once again basically shares the same defense stat as Rouge. After giving him some equipment, he also towers over Ix's 60 attack stat. The main annoyance I need for both of these fights is Ix basically needs to target the correct person every time, and that person needs to actually dodge. However, with all of that said, this is not impossible for the stars to align.
Tails, please.
Tails. Yep. Fastball, make shenanigans, but you still have water on.
Oh,
It's
forgot
kind
to
of
take it
bad.
off. It's okay.
You will take like 25 less from that. But you know, maybe it will work. Will not kill this round, I think. Oh, you stunned them.
What the frick?
Then it's over. You won.
Cool final boss.
Cool final boss. Omega lol.
Perfect.
Now you need to get the third one with the gizoids. You
No more
can't
bonus
allocate-
points.
You can't
But
allocate
now-
anything anymore. You can't
I
pull
can't
up
use
Knuckles.
Knuckles?
No,
That might be a
So-
problem.
I think you should use Shadow. And Amy gotta be there for a fastball. How is Shade gonna help you?
I'm just gonna use
Cream.
Blade Rush. There's more than one
feel
target.
like-
There's more than one target in this fight, right?
Yeah, it's two gizoids. I think you have to kill them. My guy has some insane fucking stats. You don't get ambushed because they run away now. We'll get the first turn at least. This version is a little worse than the chair one, but it's like so minimal that it doesn't matter. And the Gizoids, I told you, they're like super fast. 50. And only have one action. Oops.
Right.
Outstanding.
It's okay, I have another chance.
And I hope he doesn't hit you.
Oh,
Oh my god.
now it's just wrecked. Oh, okay. That does a ton. Okay, are you resistant to water?
He
No,
is.
you don't care.
He should be.
It looks like he doesn't
Does
care.
it fucking. It says he has a 50% water resistance. What is this guide for even? Fuck am I using this for if it just says that bullshit on against me? Does my guy ever wanna like attack?
No.
He's just taking it. Oh, here he comes. Outstanding. Was it worth it? Fuck this guy.
Did I
Congratulations.
beat the game? And we're good.
You need to now beat the supersonic thing. Just
Oh,
like,
right, Supersonic. I legitimately forgot because I'm getting tired of this game.
just completely do everything correctly and you will take no damage. He starts. You did it. Just fucking now. He's dead.
Okay. And
Good
that was
job.
the video game. Congratulations! You can all go to sleep.
The next time you do this fight in New Game Plus, you will have a full PP board.
Does that mean
And
anything?
then, no, it's just I get bothered by this a lot. When he transforms into Supersonic, his PP bar just goes empty for some reason. And the next time you come back here and fight him, it's just full again. And then the next time you do it, it's empty again. And then it's full again. And it's empty
Why?
again. I hate this game. Fuck this game.
That sounds like a mega glitch.
This game bothers me by a lot. Time to piss off from this mid game.
Hmm.
How do you feel about the people who like made the cinematic and were like ready to make the sequel, and then the sequel just like never happened?
I would say what were you expecting? Like the
So
quality of your
don't
game
forget to skip the credits, otherwise you're gonna have to mash through these. Yeah, about yeah.
The end? But wait,
It is.
there's more! Replay the game with your powerful Sonic. Keep your elite abilities. Pick up all the rings that you missed. Get new Chow eggs to hatch. Restarting game in 20 seconds.
Who want to do that?
I did.
Okay, but you didn't have a choice.
I did.
You did have a choice.
All right, time to do the run all over again. Let's go.
You're gonna get soft look here.
I'm
Would
not.
you? Is it like only if you start the new game? I don't remember. Okay, game
Oh,
crashed. Good.
okay, cool.
No, we don't care. We really don't care. Just. Good job, you did it. Wow.
Yeah, that it's over.
In conclusion, no.
That one fight.